Here at ScottyMeLad, we're celebrating our picks for the very best video games, TV shows, and movies of last year. We'll be covering each topic in their own video, and in this video, we're covering movies, our very big finale, where you'll get to hear my thoughts along with the rest of the ScottyMeLad crew for our favorite movies of 2018.
Hi, my name is Vicky and my movie pick of 2018 is Mary Poppins Returns. I felt that Mary Poppins Returns captured the essence of the original movie, yet gave a greater new story where we see Jane and Michael all grown up, with Michael's children and their life struggles. I loved that they kept the little town the same, like having a Bert-like character with Jack, played by Lin-Manuel, and a much older Dick Van Dyke playing the old banker. They even had the nutty admiral who lived next door who would shoot off his cannons. And of course, Emily Blunt did an amazing job as Mary Poppins. I was concerned about her performance because that could have ruined the movie for me. But Emily Blunt did great, and I'm sure Julie Andrews was pleased. I also feel that the three new Banks children, Annabelle, John, and Georgie, were outstanding. The movie had so many special effects, from the flying, the upside down room, the animated bits, and the underwater scenes were done so well that for a little while, I forgot all about my worries and I wished that I had been there with them. All these little touches were so heartwarming and is what made it for me, that when it ends, the movie leaves you wanting more. I really hope they make another Mary Poppins and it is just as good as this one.
Hey, it's Tristan, and for my best movie of 2018, it was an absolute no-brainer because I literally remember no other movie in 2018 that I watched besides this one, and it was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That is my absolute favorite movie of the year and my absolute favorite movie of all time. I've been a Spider-Man fan since I can remember, and I just believe that, sure, while the Spider-Man PS4 game was done really well, I felt like that was probably the best Peter Parker story, but Spider-Verse came out like later in the year, and then it showed me that, hey, this is the best Spider-Man story. One big tagline that really stuck with the creators and just stuck in all the promotional material was the line, "Anyone can wear the mask." That's just a sentiment I felt like has been lost over the years in a lot of the Spider-Man stories, just because, you know, it's always been about Peter Parker and his struggles as Peter Parker versus Spider-Man, right? And that's great and all, but something that Stan Lee really wanted to put out there when he created this story was just that whole sentiment that anybody can wear the mask. That's why Spider-Man has been such a relatable character. Anytime that he's on a page, everyone felt like this was a relatable superhero because they could be under that mask, whether they were a man, a woman, Asian, whoever they were. But Into the Spider-Verse, Miles Morales was a very new character that was just created in 2011, and I think that it was an incredible idea for them to go, hey, let's make a movie about this kid, because this kid sort of embodies what I believe a lot of modern kids go through, what modern kids look like, a lot of what modern kids feel like, a lot of what modern kids listen to, and just everything about him I felt like was just a really great choice for this movie. Watching this gave me, you know, at 22 years old, something that I have never gotten before from past Spider-Man stories, and that was just this really personal feeling of empowerment. And it wasn't just because Miles was on screen, but it was because his story was about being a Spider-Man. There were a bunch of other Spider-Man characters around him from different universes, and that's another thing that's a huge plus about this movie, is that compared to, you know, 20 films down the line, Avengers Infinity War, or stuff like, you know, even the DC movies or the DC TV shows, all this other stuff, it felt like you could just bring somebody who doesn't have any idea who Spider-Man is and sort of sit them down in the theater and they're gonna have a great time because of how pure this film is, and just kind of showing that you can be who you want to be and still be the best hero that you can be. I could talk for hours about how incredible it was for them to go, hey, we're going to make this an animated movie, so we're going to push everything about animation to make this look like a comic book on the screen. And that statement in and of itself is a huge understatement. You just have to watch the movie or scenes from it with the audio off and you'll see this is an incredible feat of technology and animation and art design and just everything. And it's incredible, and all it does is sort of emphasize the best parts about this movie, which is all about Miles' story. Somehow they balance like 5 different Spider-Man main characters and showcase that this is all about Miles. This was the best Spider-Man story. This was the best animated movie. This is just the best movie. I don't need to see any other movies ever again. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is the best movie of 2018, and you gotta check it out.
I didn't see as many movies as I wanted to see in 2018. Of course, I saw some of the hits of the year, Black Panther, Into the Spider-Verse, Infinity War, and it didn't come out in 2018, but I finally got around to seeing Get Out, and oh man, I'm still thinking about that one. So when choosing my top pick, I had a hard time deciding which of the multiple superhero movies I was going to pick. But even though I loved these movies and had a fantastic time watching all of them, I couldn't really justify one to be my movie of the year. I felt like there should have been something else. And thankfully, Mary Poppins Returns made that choice much easier for me. I'm a huge Disney fan, but really, I don't have that strong of opinion of Mary Poppins. I saw the movie when I was young, and I fondly remember Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke and the Dancing Penguins, but that's about it. Now, don't get me wrong, I was excited about Returns. I love Emily Blunt, and I love Lin-Manuel Miranda. And I was excited to see what Disney planned on doing with a sequel to one of their most well-known films. So I went into Mary Poppins Returns with low expectations and left with it becoming my favorite movie of 2018. This coming from someone whose favorite film series released their biggest, most climactic movie to date? How did Mary Poppins achieve this enormous feat of mine? Well, the movie is magical. And now let me explain. I have a soft spot for very classic nostalgic movies. I believe Singing in the Rain is the greatest film ever made. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is in my top favorite films of all time. When I watch those movies, I get this childlike feeling. I'm reminded of all the times I've watched these movies over the years. I get amazed and I get this sense of wonder that only films like that pull out of me. Mary Poppins Returns gave me that exact same feeling. From the practical sets, to the special effects, to one of the best live action and traditional animation scenes that has ever been done since Roger Rabbit. That whole segment of the movie, the whole movie in general, was a wonder to behold on the big screen. This movie feels like it was ripped from the time of all of these classics in every single best way possible. Everything in this movie is done right. It's got great music, it's got fun, flashy musical numbers, it's got solid acting. Now, is the movie perfect? Well, probably not. But I was too happy and enchanted to see otherwise. And let me tell you, being happy and enchanted was just what I needed to feel in 2018.